Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with the tournament win for the Origin 9-hole cup. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can become a master in this game and also improve your game massively by becoming a member on Patreon. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy and all our packages is in the description down below. This is going to be a difficult tournament. I would say that the Rookie Division is the most difficult of the 5 divisions that we are having. The reason for that is that we are going to play with generally lower level clubs, which will create a massive difference for those that do have, a better equipment to use. I'm trying to provide here routes that will work with lower level clubs, but also with higher level clubs, and also trying to mix with balls all from power 0 balls up to power 3 ball, and also giving you an explanation on what to think about and also what you can do to maximize if you do have power 4 balls, power 5 balls and stuff like that. Make sure that if you are uncertain of anything, any adjustment, any decision that I'm making, make sure that you comment in the comment section below, because I want to hear that and I want to help you. And that's why we have the comment section below as well for. And in the end here, we have the info box on the right hand side. There you can see the elevation for the drive for the second shot, what type of ball and club that I suggest you to use. If you do struggle knowing how to adjust for elevation, check out the elevation guide that is here on the YouTube channel. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we have a good chance for a hole-in-one. And here, we are going to play for a rough bump using 1.5 bar backspin with the ball guideline to the hole. Have in mind that if you do have a sniper that is level 5 or below, the ball guideline will show that you go slightly short of pin because the ball guideline is not fully developed yet. But here with sniper 6 and above, we are going to use the ball guideline to the hole. And now we are adjusting medium distance with a 5% over adjustment, which is going to be 1 decimal extra than what we are adjusting here in this video. And the reason we want to adjust a little bit extra is based on the result that happens now. The ball hits the rough nicely and we're coming towards the pin and just missed that one to the right, which means that we just a little bit more, we're gonna get that one in the hole for a nice hole-in-one. Medium distance, 5% extra, maul-in ball to reduce the wind a little bit, and then the precious sniper. For hole number 2, we need to get this eagle. We just have to. And we're starting with 4.5 bar topspin and 4.5 bar side spin to the right. And you can see that I'm having half of the blue ring inside the rough there to the right, but I'm not really focusing on that. I'm focusing on the ball guideline. And we're gonna go back to using a quasar and look at the ball guideline now. You see that we are clearly above the rough, and we are also kind of in line with the rough that is pointing out there to the left. 10% over adjustment, and we are not going to push up or pull back anything after we made our adjustment. And try obviously to hit the ball perfect, because if we do hit a great shot to the left or a great shot to the right, we're gonna be either longer or shorter to the pin, and that's going to make the consistency be an issue. Second shot, we have a straight tailwind for it, which is a wind that we love to have, because now we do have a little bit of room for error, meaning that we can slightly over or under adjust and still get this one in the hole. And with a crosswind, that is never going to be something that is helpful for us, because in the end we're either gonna miss left or right. Here, if I adjust a little bit too little, I might going to come in a little bit hotter. And if I adjust a little bit too much, I might come in a bit, too slow. Which means that I will still get it in the hole no matter what. No elevation whatsoever, and we play that one medium distance off our club. Right at pin for nice little eagle here on hole number 2. For hole number 3, we are going to play a very difficult par 5 when we're playing from front tee. And we're going to do something that I very rarely recommend, and that is to go with a lot of overpower. And the reason we are going to go with a lot of overpower, it's because I've been playing the shot while bouncing on the fairway on the right, trying to bounce over the bunker. But the problem with that is that we really need to have a club with a lot of curl. So players with lower level clubs is not going to be able to get that ball to fairway. And I don't want us to play up to the left because the second shot there is going to be so extremely difficult. So the thing that I do, I'm going to go 2.5 bar backspin and 4.5 bar side spin to the right. You can also see that I'm going with a little bit of curl to the right and then max overpower. The thing that we could take away though is to go and take away a little bit of side spin. Because the side spin is the thing that kicks us so close to the rough there. But I would say that we do need to go with overpower, and we do need to use, as you can see off our reference point, that we're using the target to be up on that cliff. Because using that cliff, we are going to gain a little bit more distance, like, you know, because that's how the game works, weirdly enough. So once again, with this hole here in Rookie, you know, treat it carefully, and it's going to be a difficult hole to play, and an eagle here is going to be very good. The thing to also think about here, that if you do have the possibility to play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball, then that's not going to be wrong. That's rather going to help you than it's going to hurt you. Second shot, if we reach over, which obviously it's going to be the goal for us, we're going to aim directly at the pin, but we're going to have to use a little backspin. I'm using 1 bar of backspin and trying to visualize the ball guideline to go directly at the hole. Then I'm going to adjust with a 10% over adjustment from whatever club distance I'm at. So the ball guideline to the hole, and then it's time to adjust. And as I do feel that, or at least I felt when playing this shot, that I was in medium distance. And therefore I'm adjusting medium distance numbers. The ball here is obviously going to take a first bounce over the bunker, and we are going to see the ball coming in towards the pin and just barely miss the pin on the right hand side. Difficult hole once again, but if you manage to make the drive correct, you have an okay chance for an albatross. For hole number 4, it's another tough par 4, especially when we're playing with underdeveloped or lower level clubs. We want to get to the top right fairway, but that's going to be literally impossible if we're not having like an Apocalypse level 6+, Thor Sam level 6+, XMI level 9, and those clubs are very rare when you're playing from front tee. 3 bars of topspin, 4.5 bar side spin to the right, and I'm using a power 1 ball, not so much that the power 1 ball is the best type of power ball, but I'm kind of want us to keep playing with a power 1 ball at least, because we're already spending a couple of great balls here, and I don't like us to kind of snow ourselves into that we need to use power 3 balls, you know, all the time. Sure, if you do have a bunch of them, use them, but we do have room for a good left and good right massive piece of fairway. Then I'd rather play with overpower than using a better ball. Second shot is going to be played without elevation, and here I've been using topspin to try to go for the rough bump, but in my opinion that's too inconsistent. So now I'm using the fairway above the rough to have a very high bounce, which is also very hard to control, but at least I'm not going to have to be afraid of having a glitch that roll the ball all over the green into the rough on the back. So now I'm using 4.5 bar backspin that I would say that we would and should be playing with 3.5 bar backspin instead. Because even though the ball guidelines show that we're going with the ball guideline at the hole, it basically going to die because the first bounce is so high, so it basically doesn't, you know, it doesn't move forward much, and that's going to be very difficult to control. Bouncing there, you see how high bouncing it is, so we do need to remove the backspin, but I do believe with some minor tweaks there, that's going to be the better alternative to play than the rough bump. No elevation for the second shot for that shot. For hole number 5, we're going to come to a par 3 that is difficult for a lot of players, and the reason for that is because we play so far away from the pin and we do need to use topspin. So being able to get the correct speed towards the pin has always been a problem on this one, and especially when it hasn't been from front tee on any tour ever. 2 bars of topspin. I'm using 4.5 bar side spin to the left. And why do I use left spin? It's because I want to keep myself as far away from the left rough possible with our ball guideline. So that's the reason why I'm using left spin. But the issue I'm having here though is that I'm only adjusting maximum distance with a 25% over adjustment, and that's too little to compensate for the wind push. The speed though, it's very nice. We're coming with a very nice speed, but I would literally say that, you know, we should be playing this one maximum distance with a 30% over adjustment. We could even stretch it towards playing 40% over adjustment with our club there. Whatever sniper you're having is going to be fine, as you do have the top spin on lower level snipers as well. But really think about how much you are adjusting. This is a very elevated hole, so if you're used to play, you know, with not that many rings, or you're not used to play with elevation overall, make sure that you add a lot, as it is downhill and the ball is affected more by the wind. Okay, so hole 6. Oh my god, it's going to be once again a difficult hole, and this is going to be a hole where you're going to see a lot of your opponents having a birdie on their scorecard instead of an eagle. So the eagle is the only thing that we're playing for. We are not playing for an albatross. Have that in mind. First, we're going to start with the drive. We're going to use 1 topspin and 4.5 bar side spin to the left. And the reason we're only using 1 bar topspin is because we are going to use overpower to compensate for not using more topspin. I'm gonna explain soon why we're doing so instead of using more topspin and less overpower. 10% over adjustment for the drive. And last but not least, we're going to go with overpower. Approximately 4.5 to 5 rings of overpower, meaning the needle should turn close to, you know, complete red. So why do we use more overpower instead of more topspin? It's because we do have a limited amount of area of fairway to have the ball to stay on, like in the end. And that area, the ball rolls a lot. So using more topspin, the ball will come in with more speed, which means that will roll, and we will most likely roll into the rough every single time. But using overpower, the only thing that we are going to do there is that we're going to have a bounce further up, but it's still going to be less speed once the spin kicks in. So that's why we're doing so, and that's why this shot is so difficult, because we do need to get up to the distance we are at, because even if we do get up to the distance we are at, we still have a long way to the green to go. And now we're going to go for a rough bump, and my only goal here is to get the ball to not get stuck in the rough or in the sand, or roll or like miss the rough completely and go into the rough or into the sand on the back. So second shot here, we are going to adjust, and we're going to use the 4.5 bar topspin we're having. If you do have a club with more topspin, like the big dog but in a higher level, then I would suggest you to do or use that one instead. You see that I bounce into the rough and I roll out and be on the fairway just by the fringe, and this is a wedge that we should be managing to get an eagle from, and that's all that matters to me. Big dog for the second shot, as big dog is, even in a lower level, the club that do give you the most distance, or like the most power, as the stat is called. No elevation for the second shot, and once again, this is no albatross hole. Get the eagle and run. So for hole number 7, we have the final par 4, and this par 4, I'm a bit surprised that we do get headwind, because this will make this shot way harder than what it is in tailwind. But we do have some wind coming left to right at least, and that's what we're going to try to work with. We do play with a power 3 ball here, unfortunately, but the headwind is kind of pushing us to do so. And I would, if we could, play with a kingmaker to give us a side spin 3. If you don't have a side spin 3 ball or a kingmaker that you do want to spend, then you go to a titan. You can see that I used approximately 50% of overpower. I used as much curl to the right that I possible can, and 3 bars of topspin. And we do need to use a lot of curl here. That's why quarterback, in my opinion, is the key club here to get ourselves down to the right. You can stay away from using overpower if you want to. The only difference is that you're gonna have a long iron towards the pin instead of a short iron. But as a quarterback, it's a very accurate club. We can, we are not getting that much big of a difference in terms of landing spot if using overpower and hit great than if using overpower and hit perfect or just hit perfect in general. But the quarterback is the key for that shot. That will leave ourselves up for a short iron in maximum distance, or at least very close to it. Here I'm kind of debating with myself, how much backspin am I going to use? Because we don't have a fully developed ball guideline, so it's very hard to read. And also the second shot is played massively downhill, which also has an effect in terms of the headwind. Even though it's a little headwind, it's still going to have an effect where the ball guideline is going to be more compressed, and therefore the ball is going to stop sooner. We do have an elevation of 20% for the drive. We also have an elevation of 20% for the second shot. But you can see that we are in like a downhill position on that fairway we are at now. And the further down you are, the less elevation you need to use, which makes this hole difficult. But in the end, I want us to play on the right side, because playing on the left hand side, on the playing a very, easy drive, just straightforward, that's going to require a lot of skill to then use 40% over adjustment to go for a rough bump from distance, and that's not even going to be a super good chance anyway. So we play on the right, use a side spin 3 ball if possible, get yourself down there with your quarterback. For hole number 8, we are going to take the safest route possible, which is going to be actually going over the water. And we're going to use a guardian. And even if you have a lower level guardian, you're still being able to play this shot that I'm doing here now. And as you can see, this is a guardian level 3. Have in mind, for those of you having a higher level guardian, you have more backspin than I have. So you need to, replicate it and use less backspin. That's why we're gonna take this one from the beginning, because even I didn't remember what backspin we're having. So we're gonna play 7.5 bar backspin and as much side spin to the right possible, and we're aiming just by the bunker there. We're having around around 2 rings of margin to the right there. Ball guidelines, so it looks like it's pointing towards the pin. And then we're going to adjust maximum distance numbers and 40% over adjustment. And 40 sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But in rings, it's not going to be that much. So we play 2.7 rings, and then we're going to take our shot. Play with a power 2 ball if you can. And you should be able to handle a power 1 ball as well, but a power 2 ball would be the ball that I would go with. And if we can get this close and maybe get 1 drop overall in this tournament, I will take that all day and every day. Because if we go back and we bounce over the water, we put that freaking bunker in play massively, and we're going to hit that, trust me, more than we want to, because the pin stands behind the bunker and we need to kind of go around it, and that's very, very difficult. So guardian, 40% over adjustment, use the backspin that you have and aim for the pin. Last but not least, we do have hole number 9, and here we're going to go straight forward, as we need to adapt to, especially those of us that do not have that much curl on our driver. 4 bars of topspin, and we're aiming with the ball to just bounce at the center of the fairway, and also taking a close look at the top of the ball guideline, so we're not aiming to go into the rough or into the sand. 10% over adjustment, maximum distance, and we're using a power 3 ball. Unfortunately, I don't like to use power 3 ball from front tee, but this is a very long par 5 and we need it, especially for the second shot. The second shot is going to be played with a sniper, and here, the value of having a power 3 ball with lower level clubs is, massive. So if you do have a sniper level 9, level 10 in rookie, you could be okay with a power 2 ball even, because you know a sniper 4 is in complete max distance with a power 3 ball. But to just give yourself the room, then you play with a power 3 ball once again. No elevation, I'm playing maximum distance numbers, no spin, aiming for the hole. And you know, when we see this camera angle, we are thinking, will this one go in the hole? Looks like it won't. Very close though for an albatross here on hole 9. If we get that, you're gonna be a super bonus. But in the end, play straight. Forward with the drive, straight forward for the second shot. And then you're at least gonna have a chance on this tough par 5. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division for the Origin 9-hole cup. And have in mind, this is a very difficult tournament, especially for those of you playing with lower level clubs. And I'm not saying that just to justify why I'm using better balls, but I'm using on some of the holes better balls because I want at least to provide you with a route where we can see ourselves getting a drop, even if, you know, it sometimes might be, you know, the luck factor involved as well. But in the end, that is my goal, to give you an idea, give you a chance of maximized opportunity of winning the tournament, and also obviously reaching your goal, whatever goal you have set up. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure you subscribe and get the best guides on the market on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You find the link in the description down below. Thank you so much once again for watching, and good luck in the 9-hole cup.